It's time for change. Survivors of the shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School are calling out lawmakers, demanding stricter gun laws, saying the Never Again movement starts now. Hundreds of people joined them on the steps of Broward County Federal Courthouse today, holding signs of support and pictures of those lost. These are the faces of the 17 students, teachers and coaches who were gunned down on Valentine's Day. They were teenagers just starting high school and some getting ready to go off to college. They were aspiring athletes and musicians. They were more than victims. This tragedy is still surreal for survivors. Some of them took to the podium at today's rally, hoping to send a message to lawmakers.
He was able to legally purchase that semi-automatic rifle and come into my school and slaughter 17 of my people. Because of these gun laws, people that I know, people that I love have died, and I will never be able to see them again. If all our government and president can do is send thoughts and prayers, then it's time for victims to be the change that we need to see.
And they are not alone in their anger and grief. Similar rallies were held all across the state. 10 News reporter Josh Sidorowitz spoke with demonstrators in St. Pete tonight.
Enough is enough. I'm tired of losing our children to senseless gun violence.
No matter what happens, no matter what anybody does, all we get is thoughts and prayers, and it's time for something different.
I lived in Newtown, Connecticut for 18 years, and it is so close to my heart, and yes, I lived there during the Sandy Hook atrocity. To see that level of despair and grief and disbelief in a mother's eyes, in a father's eyes, I don't know how people can not take up the fight.
When do we want common sense gun laws? We may be miles away from Parkland, Florida. We are not miles away from what occurred in Parkland, Florida.
Let those who cherish life bless this day and every day.
There are no words. We have failed our children. That my 13-year-old can come to me and say, "Mom, these are our safe spaces." What are our safe spaces? What have we as parents done to provide these safe spaces? Shame on us. Shame on us as a community to allow this to continue.
And Josh Sidorowitz, you join me now. Something that you heard come up several times tonight is something that we've talked about extensively. This idea behind a bill in Tallahassee that would arm trained volunteers or school employees with guns.
And the fact that Senate committee was scheduled to take up that bill this coming Tuesday. However, I want to point out, late last night, actually, the chairman pulled it after senators apparently were flooded with phone calls from groups like the ones who we saw organize tonight's rallies, so vehemently opposed to that. Wow. So we know what's not happening, but what do our lawmakers plan to do? Well, no surprise, there was no consensus on what to do next year, but we do have several Republican state senators who are pushing for more money for mental health screenings, for mental health treatments in our state. But if it is gun legislation you are looking for, well, Democrats like State Representative Kathy Castor, they are calling on the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to allow the CDC to do more research into gun violence. Meantime, U.S. Florida Representative Charlie Crist, he is calling for tougher background checks. During tonight's rally, he also reiterated his desire. He wants to ban assault weapons.